Hi, I'm Debbie Harbeck, and I'm a certified life coach working with women in midlife and through the menopause transition. So each week, I'll be sharing the latest information, inspiration, and generate some momentum so you can move forward and feel more in control of your changing midlife body and your life. Let's go. Hi there, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we're talking about breakfast because it comes up so often in coaching and people that I talk to. A lot of people ask me what I eat for breakfast. So I want to talk about breakfast because I think it's become like the most overhyped and now overcomplicated meal in our diet and in this diet culture that we're living in. So I know you've heard it 1,000 times that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but is it? And that's the question. So yes, breakfast is important because it's the first food you're going to eat today. But breakfast doesn't mean the thing you eat early in the morning. It could be that your breakfast is happening at 10 a.m. or even 12 p.m. for some. No matter what the time, the first thing you eat is breakfast because that literally means you're breaking your fast from the night before. And it doesn't include your morning coffee, even if you have a little bit of milk in it. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that's rich in nutrition and calories, perhaps. That could be food. It could be something you drink, but it's more than just a coffee. So often I have clients asking me if they should be eating breakfast before they leave the house in the morning. So if they're going to work, they want to know, what should I do? And I ask them, are you hungry before you leave the house? And if not, you can have breakfast at work when your hunger actually happens for you. Because one of my 4 main philosophies around food and eating is eat when you're hungry. It's actually probably the biggest one. If you're not hungry first thing in the morning, you don't have to eat. But if you are, don't skip it either because you're on some sort of fasting plan or you're trying to cut calories. It doesn't work. And when you do eat, it's important to make it count. So prioritize protein and fiber and healthy fats, especially if you're in this midlife time with me, when blood sugar and cravings and energy all tend to be a little bit out of whack. So let's break all this down so you can make the best decision for your body. We are all different when it comes to breakfast. So the first thing is, do you have to eat breakfast? The short answer is yes. And that's only because I consider the first meal you eat to be breakfast because that's when you're literally breaking your fast, which I mentioned before. So it might be noon and you're eating a chicken sandwich. If that's your first meal, that's breakfast. It's not lunch or dinner. So if when you get up in the morning, your body's saying, no thanks, it doesn't want to eat, then that's valid. Cortisol is naturally high in the morning if you're on a good sleep cycle. And that can sometimes actually blunt your hunger for some of us. And if you had a late dinner the night before or you didn't sleep well, you might not feel ready to eat at 7 a.m. That said, studies show that eating your first meal earlier in the day rather than skipping or delaying until the afternoon can support your blood sugar balance, which we need. It can improve insulin sensitivity, super important, especially if we don't want to be gaining fat or weight, and it can reduce inflammation. So there's actually a 2020 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism that even showed that front-loading calories earlier in the day without changing the total calories of the day actually led to better metabolic health. So no pressure to eat early, but probably don't wait until 2 p.m. either. Somewhere in the morning to late morning range is probably ideal for most of us. And then the next issue is brain fog or crashing mid-morning. And that could be because of your first meal or lack of first meal. So if you are skipping breakfast or you're eating a breakfast that is high in sugar and low in protein, I'm talking about things like toast and jam and breakfast cereals, like the typical breakfast cereals, or coffee with sugar or some kinds of crazy coffee latte drink. These things can seriously mess with your energy, with your mood, with your focus. Many women in midlife already struggle with brain fog and forgetfulness, so we don't want to add to that by skipping breakfast or eating one that's low quality. Support your cognitive function by making sure your first meal has plenty of protein and fiber and also healthy fats. This will help regulate your blood sugar. It will help keep you mentally sharp. It will get you to feeling satisfied for longer. This is what we want. So, another question I get sometimes is what about fueling before exercise? So, if you are a morning exerciser like me, you might want to eat before you work out. You might want some food. Obviously, you don't want a huge, big breakfast, but you might want to eat. Or some women are okay without eating before working out. I fall into both categories. Sometimes I need a little food, sometimes I don't. I really let my body do the talking in the morning. So, if you're doing a morning exercise like going out for a walk or doing some yoga, then it's probably okay to not have breakfast before then. But if you're doing like a high intensity workout or lifting heavy weights, you might want to have something beforehand. Or if you do notice you feel weak or dizzy or like you can't recover after a workout, then you should probably be eating something beforehand. And what that something could be something as simple as half a banana with a little bit of peanut butter or almond butter on it, or maybe a little bit of Greek yogurt with berries. Something small, but something you feel you can digest easily is important. It will give you energy and it will help your performance. So the next thing is when you do eat, what should that first meal include? And this is key. When you sit down to eat, ideally you should be sitting down to eat, not in your car, but at your desk maybe or at a table where hopefully you can focus on your meal and not be distracted. That is ideal. But whether it's 7 a.m. or 11:30 a.m., let's think about first of all protein. We want to aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein because that will help keep you full. It will support your muscle maintenance and it will help regulate your hormones. We want that. Then there's fiber. We want to add berries and greens and chia seeds and oats and veggies to keep your gut happy and to stabilize that blood sugar. We want healthy fats, which can include like avocado or nuts and seeds, olive oil, cold pressed virgin olive oil. That's what we're looking for. All support hormone health. We want minimal sugar, if at all possible, no added sugar. So skip the healthy granola bars or muffins that spike you and crash you. Your first meal sets the tone, and you might notice this. If you do not eat well in the morning, you might just feel like your whole day is off. And I know this firsthand from myself. I see it in my clients when they've planned out a really healthy first meal of the day, like overnight oats, which is something you could do the night before. So it has you thinking already of your breakfast and you've already planned something healthy. Fantastic. Your day actually follows, and it's actually usually a better day when you've had a better breakfast. So it sets the tone for your body, how your body works during the day, for your brain function. So if you're looking to focus and get out of the fog, it's ideal. It's not about the calories. This is not about the calories. You're just feeding your body what it needs so that it can function optimally. So then there's this cortisol connection. So remember earlier, I talked about cortisol blunting your hunger. Well, our relationship with cortisol is complicated. And having you might notice that sometimes when you're stressed, it causes you to eat. And then when sometimes you're stressed, you actually don't feel hungry at all. I know for myself personally, if I'm a little bit stressed, I want to eat. I just want to eat. If I'm a lot stressed, I am not hungry at all. So we have a very weird relationship with stress. And having that early morning spike of cortisol can sometimes, as I mentioned, it can blunt your hunger, but sometimes it can leave you feeling anxious or like this feeling of being wired but tired. So, if that's the case for you, eat something stabilizing, especially protein and fat, because they can help regulate your cortisol response. So, think something like eggs and avocado, or a protein shake with no added sugar and maybe some chia seeds in it. These things can go a long way to helping you feel mentally more sharp and emotionally less anxious. Here's another point. Skipping breakfast can often lead to more snacking. So, there are studies that show that skipping breakfast will increase the likelihood that you will snack, often on less than nutritious foods, later in the day. And we all have it, that 3 p.m. energy crash. Some of us have that 9 p.m. or maybe midnight fridge raid. Those are often rooted in an unbalanced or skipped first meal. That's breakfast, right? So while you don't need to force food if you're not hungry, I don't want you to force feed yourself, but don't try to save calories either, because that usually backfires. We want to eat enough right now. We want to eat enough food to make us function optimally. That's what we're looking for. We're not counting calories or points right now in midlife. This is a time to eat the best and most nutritious whole foods you can find and eat until you're satisfied. Listen to your body. It is your most reliable instrument. And finally, how you eat matters. So it's not just about the food, but it's about the experience of eating. So, as I mentioned, this is a time to tune in and reconnect with your body's signals. To do this, ideally, you're eating sitting down without distractions, and you're chewing more thoroughly, and you're taking maybe a deep breath or two between each bite. Slow down and tune in. That will help your digestion. It will increase your satisfaction as you'll be eating with more awareness. And will help you learn to trust your body again, especially if you've had a challenging relationship with your body up until now. And so many of us, women who have grown up in the 80s, have a challenging relationship with our bodies and with food. So, this is a time to recreate that relationship and make it healthy for the rest of your years. So, let's just wrap all this up. So, first of all, you don't have to eat before leaving the house or getting to work if you're not hungry. Just don't delay it too long. You want to fuel yourself before workouts, especially if you feel weak or you're doing intense exercise or you notice that you're just fatigued during the day or you're having trouble focusing during the day. That's when you know you need to fuel yourself before working out. And when you do eat protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Those are what you want to prioritize. Earlier meals are often better to support your blood sugar and your hormone balance. And maybe most importantly, slow down and eat with intention. That will go a long way to anything that you're trying to achieve, weight loss included. Breakfast for me has always been important. I used to be somebody who believed you absolutely had to eat breakfast before you left the house in the morning, or you absolutely had to eat before workout. I have learned to listen to my own body. And sometimes my body doesn't want to eat first thing in the morning. So learning to adjust to that has been a game changer for me and my energy. And also switching to foods that have been a lot more nutritious. I mean, I grew up on cornflakes and Rice Krispies and toast and jam. And I know that this is breakfast that a lot of us are still eating. So switching from that to more protein, high fiber, healthy fats definitely has been a game changer for me for my digestive system. First of all, I really needed to up my fiber. That's what I figured out. So now my digestive system was working better. Protein because I'm really amping up my workouts these days and I know that I'm losing lean muscle and bone as I age, so I really have emphasized the protein and healthy fats because they do fill you up and they have so much cellular benefit. So really go for the healthy fats. And yeah, so breakfast is important. When you eat it is really up to you and your body. If this episode has maybe shifted how you think about breakfast or has been helpful in some way, or you think it could be helpful to somebody you know, please send them to this episode, share this with them. I would absolutely love that. Please rate this podcast because I would love that too. And if you want help creating a sustainable relationship with food or a sustainable lifestyle that favors food and fitness in midlife, I am totally here for you. So you can email me or message me and we can get together and maybe have a chat. So until next time, keep taking care of your amazing body, keep moving forward, and bye for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Midlife Momentum Podcast. If you want to learn more about working with me, come visit me at DebbieHarbeckCoaching.com. That's Debbie, I-E, Harbeck with a C, coaching.com. See you next week.